All right, and let's get some folks in here. Hello, everyone. Happy Independence Day for those of us in the United States. Apologies to those in the UK for sort of ruining that whole thing for you guys with the whole colony uprising thing. It's our, I guess we just have to celebrate it. We have to celebrate that accomplishment, I suppose, this weekend. Good to see you all. And I'll let us trickle in here for a second, and then I'll give an intro, and then we'll get started with our guest today. Very excited for our guest today. I'll go ahead and get us rolling here now. So welcome everyone to Piano Tech Radio Hour. This is an event brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses that brings you cutting edge instructors from around the globe, or cutting edge beyond instructors, in piano industry professionals. Bring them to the comfort of your home to teach you something that you probably wouldn't have otherwise found out. And you can find out more at pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. We have had 2 now conventions, the first and second ever online piano tech conventions. And actually, we're going to be producing another convention in September, which is going to be really exciting because we're going to go beyond our little world of piano technicians and incorporate some events that have piano teachers involved or piano players involved, or just sort of general piano industry promotion, technology, different things going on. So it's going to be really fun. That'll be in September, and look for details on that. And without further ado, I'll bring up a spotlight of our guest for today, a very special person. That's Sally Phillips of Piano Perfect LLC. Although I'd love to hear what's going on with that business, how it's going. I know the pandemic kind of threw everybody off base. But yeah, she's kind of maybe both world renowned and the best kept secret, right? Sometimes she's like the ninja piano tech who stealthily takes care of things that needs to be taken care of, almost like a bit of a mercenary of sorts. I think sometimes. But she's very, very professional, very much a perfectionist. The name Piano Perfect LLC, I quickly found out that it was true to form as I began to know Sally. So you can count on her to be almost too intensely perfect. So Sally, welcome, and I don't know if there's anything else you want to say to kick us off.
Well, I'd like to start out. I'd love to have a lot of questions today.
Right.
So we're going to talk about some of the challenges, some of the sort of peculiar challenges in concert work and concert preparation and working for professional pianists. And then, I'd just like to talk a lot about some of the things that you want to talk about, questions that you have specifically for, about, concert prep and tuning. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about what my plans are for the future. I have a staff here at Piano Perfect. I have 6 employees. We do piano tuning and moving and rebuilding. But I am stepping back from the actual servicing aspect of it, so that I'm only going to be doing concert duty. And I won't be doing what I used to do, which is, do one concert tuning and drive 3 hours and do another one. We won't be doing that anymore. But I have an RV that I have all set up. It's the smallest, tiniest Winnebago, and it means I don't have to stay in a hotel. I don't have to eat in a restaurant. I don't have to use the restroom at the rest stop. And I can and most of these halls that I'm working in have RV hookups in the back. And so I've worked it out so that I can do a lot of that without really stressing myself out during the rest of the pandemic. But that's how I've been operating really since last November. But I have two videos to look at, and one of them is a video
To listen to. We're going to listen.
Yeah, we're just going to listen to them because the first one, I was the technician, and this was a concert that used 4 pianos, and tuning 4 pianos together is the first thing you think of is, why did somebody think of this? Because it is really hard. 2 pianos together is hard enough, but 4 pianos together is really tough. I usually start out with the pianos keyboard to keyboard, all 4 of them turned keyboard to keyboard. And I start tuning one, and then I tune another one, and then I go back and tune opposite ones, and then I switch them around so that the opposite keyboard has been switched from one, so A and C, and then B and D, and then A and B, and C and D. So that way I can compare them all. This particular concert was sort of typical because when you have that many pianos, in a lot of cases, some of these pianos, one of them is really usually old, and that's in the case. So I had one piano that was almost brand new. I had 2 pianos that were almost right at 20 years old, and the 4th one was a 40-year-old piano, and all of these had original strings. So and they've since all been restrung. But this was a situation where I had to do this with older instruments. The other thing that you run into when they do these multiple piano concerts is that the only place they can rehearse is usually on the 4 pianos that are going to be used for the concert. So you have to expect that the time that you have to actually do anything is going to be more limited. The other thing that I've discovered when you're doing multiple pianos at the same time is the typical way we walk into the hall, we turn on the work lights or we turn on the stage lights, and we get out our tools and we start working. And this just does not work with a concert piano. And I've learned that the easiest, most simple way to do this is to tune in the dark, because when you turn on the lights, all 4 pianos start heating up. But you're not tuning them at the same time. You're tuning them sequentially, but they're heating up at the same time. If you tune everything in the dark and then, or with a work light that is basically, the old 1 bulb, just enough so that you can see, you will have, then you turn the lights on that are actually going to heat up and affect the tuning, hits all of them at the same time when they're all at the same pitch. The other thing was that I did have to change, one of these pianos was always kept at 441.5 instead of 440. The other 3 were kept at 440. So I had to change pitch on that one down to 440. I ended up tuning all of the pianos 4 times. And and it was just sort of one of those things where I had the time to do it. I usually go in the hall between 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning. I backed it up, went in even earlier so that I could get all 4 pianos tuned before 10 a.m. And then they were rehearsing with them all day, and then I would tune them again the next day. So we had the 4 pianos on the stage about 3 days. Before the day of the concert. So that
May I interject with one of our questions here?
Yes.
So I'm guessing it's the answer to this is no. Josh Martell asked, were the 4 pianos the same model?
Yes.
Oh, they were. But they
were.
They just kept one at 4, what was it, 441.5?
441. A lot of the visiting artists want 441. A lot of the violinists want 441 or 442. We just hit a happy medium at 441.5, and everybody was reasonably happy with that, which is really hard in a university setting when you've got so many people who have an idea about what they want. So
were they Steinway Ds?
Yeah, they were all Ds. So here is sort of, and it's the tuner's nightmare. This piece was 22 minutes long. It was a compilation. It was one of the graduate students in this case did a transcription of this for 4 pianos, and then the middle of the piece, they were just banging the heck out of these pianos, and they were really getting a workout. And then, of course, the last few minutes of the piece is this real quiet section, and it just sort of fades away, which, of course, this is always what happens. They play the first movement, it's big, big, bombastic. Then the second movement is very soft and has soft parts where your tuning is much more exposed. But this one was really sort of took the cake. So I'm going to let you listen to a few minute of this. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there, and then I'm going to move it. So that was most of the 22 minutes was in that, it's sort of like that. And then this is the last minute of it, which was just a killer. Okay, so that was the last of it. It was like it was written to say, okay, we're going to bang the heck out of this, and then the last several minutes, we're going to expose every mistake the tuner made.
This is the Olympics of piano tuning.
Right, it is, but it's really fun to do, and it's fun to see how close you can really get it and make it hold. And when I have students now, and one of the reasons I love being where I am is that I've had the opportunity to do a lot of teaching, and so I have my students have to learn how to tune in the practice rooms, and we have like 4 pianos that are designated for the students for tuning practice. And I teach them stability first. As soon as they can do a stable unison, then we start spreading out, doing octaves. Then we do fourths and fifths and sixths and tenths tests, and then we do a temperament. So I teach them backwards, and this is exactly how Bill Garlick taught us at the North Bennett Street School. The first thing we did was unisons. We did unisons for about a month, and then we started getting octave tests. Then we did fourths and fifths, and so that I really teach stability as this is the payday of tuning if you can really make it hold, and holding through concerts, especially when it's very, very aggressive playing. And in that case, the last several measures of that, all four pianos were playing. So, I mean, they're playing half of a fourth on one and the other half of the fourth on the other. But it was really a fun thing to do. But it's challenging, and every time you do something that you really didn't want to do because you thought this is going to be a lot of work, you always learn something. So I always urge people not to turn down the challenges that occur when you have to do concert work. And the second one that I'm going to do is, and this is, again, I was not the tuner technician, but I happen to know the person who was playing, and this was in a major piano competition. This was a well-known well-known competition contestant, and he was playing a Scarlatti Sonata, and the C sharp failed more than once. And you can hear this. You can hear, I can't show you the video because